think about empowering yourself and being about this community. We got families, we fathers, we mothers, we're taxpayers. We're not just bums out here. We're not just live behind the basement. So I thank you, and I appreciate it, man, and peace to everybody out there. Love.
Open up, Colorado. It's 420. Time to grind and burn.
This is not your son's stoner show.
Welcome to the Cannabis Community Project. This is Brainstorm, once again bringing you your weekly podcast from the CCP studios high up in Denver, Colorado. You're exploring the business side of this newly emerging economy, focusing on the patient, the retailer, to the geek in the garage, creating that next innovation in cannabis. This is the first media platform to help fellow cannapreneurs build sustainable businesses.
Skunk Box is a rugged, travel-sized herbal humidor that's water-resistant, odorless, and nearly indestructible. It stores your herbs and restores them too. Order yours online today at skunk-box.com, where you can choose from different models and even customize them to meet your needs.
Hello, cannapreneurs, family, friends, followers, and everyone else in between. Thank you for listening once again to another week of the CCP radio show. Cannabis Community Project, one of the few places where you can actually talk about business in a legitimate way. You can talk about the lifestyle, and you don't have to feel ashamed about venturing down the entrepreneurial path of cannabis. That's right, this show was created for like-minded individuals. That must mean I'm also a business entrepreneurial individual. Well, that is true. I am also a business entrepreneurial type, and this is my business. The CCP radio show is really what I've determined is going to be my career. I've worked for companies over the years, started different companies over the years, and none of them have taken me to the point of exhilaration and looking forward to tomorrow as this show has done. So this is it. Money or no money, this is pretty much what I'm doing as a career, which means for money, I might end up working the rest of my life in minimum wage jobs to pay the bills. But that's okay, because there's always a trade-off. But I know I can support you, and you will support me. So please take a minute out of your day and check out our CCP store, where you're going to find all the products that you've heard on this show, and some that are new who have yet to be on the show. But I really want to make this a centralized place where people can go and find new products, find good quality products that are unique and interesting to this community. So as we have new sponsors coming on, if we have other businesses, this is what we do. As a business show, we talk about how to start a business. We talk to businesses about what they're doing to stay in business. And then we also indulge in business. So this is how we stay afloat. The CCP member page is coming out this next week, maybe week and a half, but it's going to give people exclusive discounts to items in the store. It's going to give them free gummy edibles from Mouse's Edibles, 150 milligram Keef infused gummies. It's going to give them t-shirts of the CCP show and so much more. This is where you can show you're a true fan, follower, listener, and now an official member. Look for it, CCP membership page coming out this week. But welcome to May, everyone. Can you believe it? We're already in May, the 5th month. Wow. I mean, how time really does fly. Show number 64 for me. So this is coming up on a year and a half. I cannot believe how many people I've talked to, how my whole life and career has developed and changed just over the last couple years. And I get so excited because now almost on a weekly basis, I am being contacted by individuals from all around the world. Even have a listener in Russia who contacted me who wants to chat cannabis and be on the show. Well, we'll see how that works. This is just what happens. People hear you and they want to talk. They want to share share their story. They want to be in the community. And this is really all I'm trying to do, is bring it together and give that outlet for all of you. You know, community is just one of those things that you got to be in it to understand it. It's not something you can intellectualize. It's not something you can look up in a dictionary and think you understand it. You have to be part of a community to understand what that means. That's kind of what this week's show is about as we hang out at Canopy Boulder. I drove up to Boulder in the midst of a traffic jammed afternoon. Took me probably 3 times as long as usual to get up there. You remember a few weeks ago, I was up there, got some audio clips from individuals that were participating. Our very own correspondent, Scott Afable, Highest Rewards, is also a participant, going for the big money, the big bucks. And we met quite a few other people this week. I'm going to let that story unravel itself, because this is one of those things that you just got to hear what's going on. I mean, are you a lover of Shark Tank? Do you like that kind of business? Do you like the entrepreneurial side of making pitches and looking for investors and funders? Do you like the Donald Trump apprentice style where you're put to task and activities and try to make businesses work within a group environment? Well, Canopy, one of the first business accelerators, incubator programs in the country to focus on cannabis, is doing just that. And they brought together 10 very unique, motivated, interesting, and from personal experience now, some great individuals and businesses up there working together as a group, but individually on their own businesses. This is a business model of a shared workspace environment that you might be seeing more and more pop up. Canopy in Boulder, they're on a 90-day boot camp-like program. They each received a couple bucks to get their businesses up and going off the ground. They're tasked with responsibilities. They got to hire people. They got to sell products, develop products, do everything that's needed. And then at the end of 90 days, they're going to make a pitch to a room full of investors and try to get some big money to get their businesses rolling. So we'll hear all about that story. But before we do, let's make sure we quickly, as always, remember what we did last week with our short-term memory flashback relapse. Last week's show, quickly, 3 seconds. Can you remember what it was? 1, 2, 3. Too late. All right, just take a couple minutes here and listen. Go back and hear the full episode if you want to hear it, and then we'll move right into this week's show. Here we go. Grind and burn.
Yeah, hi. My name is David Bush. I'm an attorney, and I have a solo practice in Wheat Ridge, Colorado. Its formal name is David B. Bush, LLC, but I go by the trade name David Law.
What is your specific area of practice?
I tell people that I am a business and commercial lawyer. I have been promoting my services or directing them most openly to the industrial hemp industry. So people can come to me for pretty much any kind of business law issue, whether it's forming a corporation or changing the form, dissolving it, entering any kind of contract. I mean, I can do all of that, but the people that I've been approaching the most are in the industrial hemp industry, and that's where I've been getting most of the attention and the clientele. And some of those people end up calling me and asking me for my legal services.
So your practice would be no different than any other commercial venture where somebody was purchasing property or starting a business or constructing something. The only difference is it just happens to be hemp, but as far as what you're practicing is pretty much just commercial law in that sense?
Well, it's commercial and regulatory. You have to appreciate is that all cannabis is heavily regulated, whether you want to call it marijuana or industrial hemp. There are regulatory regimes that exist in Colorado, and we operate in this very strange netherworld with the federal government as to what is permitted and not permitted. So in addition to the ordinary business concerns that people may have about how do I write good contracts, how do I organize my business entity, what am I going to do about taxes? I mean, there's all those things everybody in every business will have, and I think that's really what happened with me, is that for 15 years, nonstop. I was a construction attorney. I'd been in various aspects of business law and commercial litigation really almost my entire career. And then it started narrowing down very much to the one thing that I was doing, and I just didn't want to be a one-trick pony anymore. I had done it. I'd been there, and I was ready to try something different. So there are people who are so excited about hemp, and they have reason to be, but we have to think carefully about what can we do. What can we do where we are with what we've got? I don't know what kind of industry we're ever going to have in Colorado. I think we have enormous potential to be a research and development center for the country. I think that there's all kinds of opportunity. You can call my office at 303-422-0064. That's David Law. And my website is www.davidlawcolorado.com. Email address is the same as our website. It's just my last name, BUSH, at davidlawcolorado.com.
If you have an idea, a business, perhaps just some thoughts about cannabis, contact me. I want to hear from you. I want to discuss these issues: health, food, music, growing, technology, business, everything else. CCP. Feeling guilty about a time with cannabis? Get it off your chest and confess it on Canifessions, your public forum to absolve your soul.
New voice message, Wednesday, 4:21 p.m.
Hey, what's up? I'm calling in to make a confession. This is Black and Gold Wildcat. That is my pen name. Just want to call in and confess that I have smoked cannabis illegally on 5 different continents and in international waters as well. So North America, Europe, Africa, Asia, South America, the Mediterranean Sea, the Caribbean Sea. I just needed to tell somebody that so I don't get arrested by international authorities. So thanks for letting me get that off my chest. Later.
And that was Canifessions. If you have a confession to make, contact me via Facebook or the website at cannabiscommunityproject.com. This week's show is sponsored by Dairy Berry's Recording Studio. Dairy Berry's Recording Studio, located in Arvada, Colorado, is your local recording studio with affordable rates. Mark is well experienced and will make your show, music, or any audio you have sound great. He makes our show come across the internet loud and clear every week, and he can do the same for your project. Take a look at dairyberriesrecordingstudio.com or call Mark at 303-456-8216.
The 6 degrees of Kushley. Yeah, it's amazing.
Polychronopolis.
I love cannabis.
Remember that age. Hey, man, I'm joining a religious cult.
Wow.
Right. Yeah. Take your base.
The tools that paved our history seem to be their lies and selfish greed, and selling fear was key to protect an industry, stopping anyone from questioning when all for one means all for one. No room for we in this underworld democracy. When all for one means none for all, can't you see? democracy way.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. I hear a lot of
static.
Yeah.
A lot of that is shitty equipment. Probably 70% of it's shitty equipment. And the other kind of echoey is environment's not bringing out the best. This is why I need more money for better equipment and better stuff.
We'll be a sponsor someday.
Yeah. Like a CCR song. I like the beer on tap, but it could be dangerous, right?
Yeah.
How many people have been walking out here slosh drunk in the last few weeks?
I haven't seen any, but there was definitely some ground rules that were put in place about being professionals.
Yeah.
People don't abuse the privilege.
It seems like for an organization that is cannabis focused, ultimately alcohol is winning out here in the sense of branding and sponsorship. It's like you're being sponsored by alcohol for this cannabis venture.
It is interesting. I thought it was funny when I came in and there was a kegerator. It's an open environment. It's open workspace.
Yeah, it's not radio. It's podcast.
It's not live. We can edit it. If you don't like it, we can edit.
But we could do a little introduction of like where we are and
sure
what you're doing and who you're with and all that.
Everybody will introduce themselves. And
so, Scott Afable.
Yes, sir.
I got to say, when I heard Aaron tell me that this guy named Scott Afable called him from this company...
You know exactly who it was.
From this company, Top Reward, and told me that there was some consideration of employment opportunities going on. I promptly corrected him and said, did you mean Scott Afable from Highest Reward?
Thanks. Thanks, Brainstorm. I appreciate that.
It took me almost a month, though, to actually get your full name and proper pronunciation. Here, let me
I think people are just afraid to say it, but I've heard it slaughtered every which way, so it's Afable, affable with one F if you want to spell it.
Well, Scott, everybody should know who you are because you've been on the show how many times? 4?
Yeah, it's probably my 5th time.
4th. You're a veteran of the show. I came up here to Boulder tonight. Talk to you, hang out.
Thanks for coming up. It was a little bit of a drive for you.
Do you want to tell us where we're at?
Sure.
What we're at, and then we can kind of go from there.
We are in the center of the cannabis universe. This is Colorado. We are located in Boulder, sitting here in one of the conference rooms at Canopy Boulder, which is the industry's first seed stage accelerator that is mentor-driven, aimed to create some of the leading companies that will set cannabis on the right path in the future. We're honored to be part of this, and I know all the teams here. There are a total of 10 teams here, each of them with a unique business, but all complementary. We're just fortunate to have this opportunity tonight, share this with CCP and listeners. At Canopy Boulder, we work hard is what we do, and we learn. We're like sponges here. Canopy puts us in the middle of the cannabis universe in that they provide access to some of the most well-known figures and businessmen and women in the industry. It's designed to accelerate our business from idea to reality, and just in the short month that we've been here, each team has made leaps and bounds from the first day. I'm excited. I'm ready for more, and I want to share more with you guys. Feel free to edit liberally.
So Scott Afable from Highest Rewards back again on the Cannabis Community Project, sitting up here at Canopy. Is that just the full name, Canopy? Canopy Boulder?
Canopy Boulder.
So I drove 3.5 hours from Denver to Boulder, come hang out with you guys tonight and learn about what you're doing up here in Canopy. I was here once, a couple weeks ago, where I got to talk to a few people, got some good audio clips on the show, a little introduction to kind of what this is all about. Tonight, I want to get into the nitty-gritty about what you guys are actually doing here and how this is changing the industry, who's being represented, how the process works, and if you can keep it to 30 seconds or less.
Sure.
So Scott, you're sitting next to a lovely young lady. Do you want to tell us who she is, or do you want to let her introduce herself?
I will introduce Holly because I've practiced this before. So one of the things we do here at Canopy Boulder is pitch the other company's business. So with us right now is Holly. She is the co-founder of Healthy Headie Lifestyle. They are a direct marketing company who provides experiences in people's homes where they get to try out different ways of consuming the cannabis plant, and more specifically the healthy ways of consuming via vaporization, edibles, topicals, non-combustion. So they are from Massachusetts and have come here to Boulder to take their business to the next level, just like everybody else. So that's my intro.
Welcome, Holly. right?
Well, thank you.
You know, have you ever played the Kevin Bacon game?
6 degrees of
Right.
separation.
So let's talk about our degrees of separation here. So we don't actually know each other. We've never met.
We've never met in person.
But we do have a degree of connection.
We absolutely do.
Matter of fact, I have a degree of connection with you, with Scott, with Aaron Stevens, and I think that's it as far as this little triad of connection goings on here. So Colleen from Cushley.
Yes.
From your neck of the woods.
Absolutely, the East Coast.
Right. When you guys came out here a few weeks ago, she sent me a message saying I had to come up here to Canopy and meet you guys because you were coming all the way out for this event. I don't think I knew it at the time, but Scott had also applied and got in, and I think that was just a good coincidence. And then a few weeks later, I met Aaron, who was on my show, who also knows Colleen from Cushley.
Right.
You didn't know Aaron,
I didn't, no.
but Scott heard him and then decided to work with him. And now you know him. So now we're all kind of connected through somebody that I don't think any of us have ever met. Have you met Colleen?
I have.
You have.
I've had the pleasure to meet Colleen many times, and
So you're one of the few people who's actually met her in person.
the 6 degrees of Cushley. Yeah, it's amazing. That was a great introduction, by the way. Thank you very much. Scott did a great job at introducing our business. As he mentioned, that's one of the tasks that we get to do here is practice our pitch, not only of our business, but the 9 other startups that are in the space with us. We get...
Well, I'm going to task you with the responsibility, since Scott just walked off on us.
All right, see you
Of
later.
actually explaining what is going on up here.
For sure.
Canopy, I mean, I don't even know if I could do it justice. Since you're in the mix here, why don't you tell us exactly what's going on? First
Right
person.
on. Absolutely. So for what I understand about Canopy Boulder and what we've been experiencing is it's the first ever incubator program specifically for the cannabis ancillary space. So what they're trying to do is develop or take our ideas to the next level and provide hands-on mentorships. Steve D'Angelo, I think he was here the night that you got a chance to come for the launch party. So he's part of ArcView, which is the partner in Canopy.
Okay.
And it's really a space similar to Techstars. If you're familiar with Techstars on the tech side for the incubator program, it's really a mirror image put into the cannabis space.
As far as the model goes,
The
of what
modeling,
you're doing here. And
yes.
how many different businesses or individuals are represented here?
So there's 10 total.
Okay.
And there's approximately 22 people, but I think we've grown that over the last few days as startups actually are hiring on interns. We're aggressively looking for interns for anybody who's in the Boulder area or surrounding communities that we're looking for experience to get into
Meaning
the cannabis
what?
area. There's actually, I'll ask Scott what the email address is, or if Skip knows it from Stashlogix.
So Skip just joined us.
He just jumped in the room.
We're going to have multiple individuals probably joining us over the night, so why don't we just have them introduce themselves as they come in?
I am Skip Stone, part of Stashlogix. We manufacture integrated combination locking cannabis storage systems. I'm a father of 2 young kids in Colorado. Obviously, there's a lot of different marijuana products on the market, and many of them resemble common kids' treats, sodas, candies, candy bars, cookies. Felt like there was
You're in the locked box business.
Right. Yeah.
Cool. And both of you registered to be involved here. How did the process work? How did you both actually get into this, like an apprenticeship?
Accelerator program,
okay.
Yeah, but there was I think I heard Holly's story before where they submitted way before the deadline was due, and then they extended the deadline and they couldn't retract their submittal, so they thought they maybe could have done a better job, but they got accepted anyway. We were on the opposite end of the spectrum. We decided to submit 4 days before the deadline, so we spent a couple of late nights hovering around the laptop trying
What is
to...
the submission?
So what it is an application, and it had a list of 50 different questions, and you had to include, business plans if you had them. It's really pretty comprehensive application, and it ended up, I think the number I heard was 115 applicants. They only accepted 10. We felt pretty fortunate. That was one of the reasons we decided to go full bore with this. So my partner Sam just walked in as well, but we were both thinking of doing this on the side for a year and seeing where this thing went as just a side business. And then when we got accepted, we decided, as the more we looked into it, that there was really some significant players involved in this organization, and we would be foolish to pass this up. So we decided we're going to quit our day jobs and focus specifically on our ancillary cannabis projects.
So you're from Colorado?
I'm not from Colorado, but I've been here. I'm a native, for all intensive purposes. I've been here 17 years. So I had to travel the least distance. I'm about a half mile away. I'm the only Boulder applicant. Sam, my partner, comes from Denver, so he's one of the other close applicants. So a Some people came from as far away as Israel. A lot of people from
Israel.
A lot of people
I thought
from
you would
all
have
over
been
the country.
the furthest person coming from Connecticut. Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm from the West my whole life. I have no idea in relevance to what goes on over there. I'm not sure how the geography works.
I could just get a phone book or something to sit on. My name is Sam Campbell, co-founder of Stashlogix here with Skip.
You both were in the business before applying, right? Or did you start this business for this?
We come from two completely different fields. Skip's an engineer, has an engineering background. I work in marketing and advertising, video production, and photography.
So you came together just to join the Canopy Boulder here?
Yeah, well, we met before, and Skip showed me his project that he was working on in designing the Stashlogix bags, and asked me to do a Kickstarter video for him. And after a couple different conversations, we realized that there was a lot more that we could do together than, him owning it on his own.
Right.
And so we partnered up and applied for Canopy and made it a full-time commitment.
Were you in business, Holly, before applying for this, or is this also a business starting with Canopy?
So I think we're one of the few that have an existing business. We launched in January of 2014, my husband and I, in Massachusetts, Maine, and Rhode Island. So we did have a little bit of traction, but not too much. And then obviously understanding what the power of this program would bring to us, we decided that we could load up the Subaru, take the dog with us, and move out here.
Move
Permanently. As far as my husband's concerned, yes, we're permanently moved out of Massachusetts. We're looking at figuring out where we're going to be after the program and then expanding probably additionally westward into additional states where we'll be launching our program. So
you gave up house, job.
There's some people here, like Skip had mentioned, there's a gentleman here from Israel. So he traveled a long distance. We also have a Harvard graduate here who quit his full-time day job, and we have another few executive type positions that were working really nice jobs with wonderful benefits, and now we're drinking beer out of the keg at the startup company.
And just to be clear, you don't receive any compensation, any type of stipend? Oh, you do? Okay.
You weren't going to pay us for being on your show? Is that what you're referring to?
Royalties after,
I'll take it. No.
Net growth.
I don't know if that's something that's cool to talk about.
Yeah, I think we can explain it. It's pretty basic information that's on their website as well. Canopy Boulder invests $20,000 in each of the teams.
Okay.
And they become 9.5% equity owners.
Okay.
And that essentially, that $20,000 is going to allow you to devote your energy and time and focus to really building your business while you're here. So essentially that you're not out maybe bartending a couple nights a week.
Right. So the way it works is you're accepted, you get a little bit of money to help work things out, but you're expected to kind of have your own stability and your own base already in line. You're not making any money that make anybody comfortable. It's expected to be used towards your business venture. Yeah.
I would say, as much of it as possible towards the business venture, but I think a lot of it is just sort of cash flow to stay afloat and support yourself, pay your rent, feed yourself, wash yourself, get some really cool clothes, I hope.
And that's being backed by ArcView?
Yes, it's backed by ArcView.
Okay. So how many other programs like this are they doing around the country?
Right now, none.
This is it?
This is it. I think right now they are in D.C. pitching to raise capital to start one in San Francisco.
And how long are we here for? 3 months?
3 months, exactly.
3 months. Almost like boot camp, right? 8 more weeks. So
eight more weeks is what we have left. We've gone through 5 weeks, getting close to the middle.
So this isn't like an elimination type program, right? This isn't a Survivor Island where every week somebody gets eliminated and...
The grand finale is called Demo Day, and we pitched to a team, a group of 500 plus investors in Denver for ArcView Group Demo Day,
but like the real thing,
that's
like
the real.
Actually
so that'll
pitching
be
for money
in the convention center, standing on stage, pitching to 500 investors and trying to get some interest and get follow-up conversations and hopefully launch the business to another level.
In the Denver Convention Center, 500 investors, these 10 businesses going for one funding, or whoever gets funded that day is an independent situation per each pitch?
Yeah, there's 500 plus investors there, and nobody's going to get money that day. It's all to get the next interview, to get the next conversation with these investors. So all of us have a lot of opportunities. There's a lot of investors there that are looking to get into this space, and we've just been through an accelerator program by that point, and we'll have the opportunity to have learned a lot in the industry, made lots of connections, and hopefully raise the valuation of all of our companies to the point that investors see a lot of benefit and a lot of opportunity for these products and businesses we're trying to start.
Yeah. So who wants to take me through the daily happenings of what goes on here? How does an accelerator program work? Is this like a job, a 9 to 5? Are you expected to do certain things every day? Do all three of you want to take little pieces of that? Or
there's expectations.
Okay.
They have, kind of time frames that they want us here, and they bring in a lot of key industry people to come in and do presentations and teach us about the industry, whether it's about the medical side of things, whether it's about the law, whether it's about connections.
So what time are we getting in the morning?
It varies, but I mean, I'm usually here at 8 in the morning, and a lot of people are here at 8 in the morning. Some people are here till late at night. Some people are here all weekend long. It's really, I have a family, so I'm typically gone around the 5-6 o'clock time frame, but doesn't mean I'm working later.
So an average day, like today. Take me through today. What happened? You woke up, and now at whatever time it is, what was an average day like today?
Well, I'd say everything has been evolving really quickly. Every day has been different, whether we're here at a certain time giving pitches in the morning to practice, which happens every Monday. And for example, today, to give you a run through our day, Skip and I finished working on our Indiegogo video, which we're launching next week to raise some capital to make our first order of our bag, the Stashlogix bags. And so we literally spent the afternoon working on our script as we were live shooting it in his backyard. And again, it's just sort of flying by the seat of your pants, and every single day changes what you're going to do the next day. The relationships that you make, the products that you complete, it's completely dynamic.
Is the crowdfund something everybody's expected to do, or is this something you two decided you're going to do independent?
I think we're the only ones doing that in this program.
Okay. How much are you asking for?
Right now, we're trying to raise $15,000.
Okay.
It goes live next Tuesday morning, which is 5/5/15. Note that on your calendar. Please check it out. We've got a bunch of beautiful marketing materials to check out. Yeah. And we're doing that for about a month.
And they can find that at Indiegogo /
They can just go to Stashlogix.com. Stashlogix with an X.
Okay. So spelled
Stashlogix.com.
Okay. I'm a horrible speller. And everybody's product has a weird spelling to it, so
gotta keep it fresh.
Exactly. So that's cool. Holly, is your situation pretty much the same? And
so the days vary. We're a team of 4 here at Canopy Boulder with Healthy Headie Lifestyle, spelled Headie with an IE. So we're a little bit different with the way we spell things too. HEADIE for Headie. So Healthy Headie Lifestyle. And so there's 4 of us here. So we try to divide and conquer our time.
All 4 coming from?
All from Massachusetts. 2 of us came in one vehicle. The other 2 actually drove separately. Wow. And again, leaving, Ross actually left Bose. He was a strategic analysis, our risk manager. He left his job to come pursue this dream that my husband and I have, and we are really, really thrilled and honored that he's here for this program. But the days really vary. I mean, you're meeting with different people. You have the mentors that are basically at your fingertips that Canopy provides, as well as meeting with remaining 9 other teams in the room. So Adistry, which she just walked into the room too, is working on some different programs, and so we're really developing strategies together, how I can help get Stashlogix some more support, whether that's through the social media streams that we have existing, because we have been up and running for a year, and pushing out their Indiegogo campaign so they can get to that 15,000, because that's what's going to allow them to be able to get the bags in hand and start their program. So that community development within the 10 teams as well is something that I don't think you'll find anywhere else.
So you're independently working on your business while at the same time working on everybody else's business.
Correct.
As a team effort and individually. Who'd you just introduce coming in?
So we have Megan from Adistry here. She can tell you a little bit about the digital space that she lives in.
Okay. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
So a little about Adistry. We are digital advertising full service for the cannabis industry.
Okay.
We make sure that we place your hard work, banner advertisements, and video advertisements on cannabis-related websites, forums, blogs, and the like. We do that because your market is on there. The people that are very interested in what you have to do is on there. And actually, Holly was just talking about synergy, actually. And Micah and Patrick, the chess masters of Canopy Boulder, really did this really well.
These are the founders.
These are the founders of Canopy Boulder. They did this exceedingly well. They partnered us up not only within 10 companies working together, but also within even the tables of who we're talking to. So one of our publishers actually is Jeremy from Colorado Pot Guide, which is now potguide.com. and they have wonderful traffic, really engaged audience, which is exactly what we're working with as well, because we're twofold. We work with advertisers, so Stashlogix and Healthy Headie's Lifestyle, but we also work with different podcasts and websites that are making their income and their living on people coming in and being interactive with the ads, so we make sure those ads are darn good. Come around 1 o'clock, we're all heads down. Yeah, exactly. Working so hard.
So the majority of work going on is via internet and through your computer, or is
I don't know. I mean, during 4/13 to 4/23, it was 10 days of hectic palm shaking. It was exposition after conference after party. I mean, it was hard. It was very hard.
Did you also give up a job?
I did.
A life?
Yes.
To be here for 90 days?
Yes, actually. So I've always done marketing and advertising, but I was actually managing yoga studios. How bolder am I? But I was managing different yoga studios and different nonprofits and helped them with their advertising and marketing efforts and running of the operations of day-to-day business. And I just saw the need that was needed in here, that people were just being jerked around way too much. And I thought I could help. I knew I could help. It turned into unhelped. So that was my story. My co-founder's story was on the other end of it. He's always worked for the businesses that made their living selling advertisements on the space or creating the websites that did that. So he's the engineer, the brains behind the platform. He also quit a very comfy job, if you should say, as a developer. Yeah, we both give up a lot to do this, but we're both very passionate and we know we can create and make a difference. Oh, so we're doing 3 major pitches. Rocky Mountains Venture Club is early June, and then we actually have to, I guess if you will, audition for the ArcView Group, which is the partner company to Canopy, but we still have to prove our worth and, show our salt, if you will, making sure that we can get on stage, and that's end of June. The big huna is actually the NCIA, which is June 29th, I believe. Their opening day, and we're kind of like the main attraction, pitching all 10 of us.
Very cool, very cool. Well, this is definitely interesting, especially when we have people who aren't really coming from the background. But what type of engineer background are you from, Skip?
I was a manufacturer's representative most recently for water and wastewater treatment equipment. Completely different industry. But I'm a civil engineer and environmental, and I've worked for manufacturers and as a consultant as well. But this was a leap of faith.
So the question I always like to ask people when they're not coming from a cannabis background or something in that industry is, what actually brought you to that point where you decided to go completely into left field and do something that's not in your background? Is there an event or something that happened?
That's a good question. The event is January 2014. Being in Colorado, watching all of this happen, realizing that I'm passionate about cannabis, have been for my life, and I just saw an opportunity that I just wanted to jump on board. And
from a consumer standpoint.
Yeah. And I saw some safety issues that were, it seems like safety kind of been left in the dust in this industry, and saw an opportunity and thought this could be my new life. People are willing to invest in me to start a manufacturing business. That's a pretty amazing thing, I thought, and doing something more interesting than selling water treatment equipment.
Did you listen to that Anonymous Bag show I did there?
I did, yes.
A slightly different mechanism. This is a key locking.
Similar concept, though. Real,
concept.
Real similar. They're going after a different market, but it's also it's a good idea. It's a great idea, and I think there's a huge need for that in all sorts of different markets, but there's a lot of opportunity, and they seem to be going after a lot of the wholesale market, and we're trying to go for the consumer-based market more so.
So there's a lot of competition, I guess, in the sense of products. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of boxes and carrying cases, a lot of competition. Are you guys expected while you're here to make sales and grow sales, or is that kind of given some leeway until maybe towards the end? What is the expectation while you're here?
The expectation is to make money for Canopy and their investors.
While you're here, during this 90-day process?
No, to build your company to the point of making profit down the road. So you're trying to build your valuation. Learn as much as you can, get as many contacts as you can, and ultimately be a successful company. And with this acceleration or this boost.
But are sales calls part of your day or your routine where you're actually reaching out to actively sell products directly, or is there something else?
It's about 9 hours of my day, and the other 6 are doing everything else I possibly need to do. So there's really many different staged companies here, some that have product available already, and they're working on introducing it to the market, getting interest drummed up. Sam can talk to that a little bit more, definitely. And then there's companies such as Adistry that is actually already launched before we started here. And we came out with video advertising while we were here and made sure that it was epic and awesome, and it is. The vast majority of my day is knocking on doors, talking to people, creating emails, creating sales materials, finding different ways to integrate with them and talk with them on Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, wherever I can get somebody's ear and work with them. So yes, the vast majority of my day is sales calls, because that's the way I prove proof of concept. Because as you were mentioning earlier, competition is certainly there. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't say there's as much competition in the digital advertising sphere as there are in carrying cases, but that's why they really boiled down and selected and chose the cream of the crop to come to Canopy. Stashlogix, it's the best one I've ever seen. I mean, there's always something I can be really nitpicky with, but with theirs, I can't find anything. It's frickin', can I say fly? Is that too 90s? Frickin' fly. Stupid fly. Definitely. And Tradiv is in the room too, and you can talk about also a concept phase company. But yeah, we have many different growth stages of everything. So my day, yes, sales. Other things for different companies. It's how it is right now.
Well, we have a rule. Everybody that walks in the room has to introduce themselves.
So I'm Jeff Dorn with Tradiv.com. So we're an online wholesale marketplace for the cannabis industry. So we are going to try to change the face of the industry and disrupt how business is done, and making the transaction between the wholesalers on the buy side with the sell side, so the growers, cultivators, and then also the dispensaries, and making those connections.
Nice. And you said wholesale trade.
Yeah, wholesale trade. Yep.
So I guess you're going to have to explain just a little bit more about that, because I'm having all sorts of ideas about what you're doing. I know a few companies that use similar descriptions. Give me an exact idea about what you're doing.
Absolutely. So if you're a grower or a cultivator and you have a certain strand you're trying to market, we're going to help you facilitate that transactions. You go onto our website, you put the strand up, how much you're wanting to sell, and then the dispensary can come on and say, okay, well, I'll take a 50 pounds of this certain strand, and then we're going to facilitate the shipping and then the payment solution as well. And so all that's done one-stop shop. We want to basically be an extension of their business. If we're going to do this right, we're going to be able to streamline it, get in, get out. They can get back to what they have to do, which hundreds of different things that they have to do to keep up with their business.
Is this for licensed dispensaries only?
Absolutely. One of the focuses going into this and what we sold to Canopy to get into this accelerator was, one of our main focuses being compliant and regulatory. That's one of our biggest deals, is that we want to make sure we're working with only licensed businesses and making sure that we're staying within the framework here in Colorado.
Yeah, one of your, I would assume, competitors is one of my sponsors, the CCX, Cannabis Commodities Exchange.
Absolutely, yeah.
Doing a very similar business model there. However, maybe there's something very different.
So we are going online with our beta May 15th.
Okay.
And so when we come online with that, we decided to do this as a beta for many specific reasons. We feel like some of our competitors kind of came out with a product and said, hey, here's a rotary phone, use it. And they didn't really test it with the growers and the dispensaries and said, hey, what do you like? I want basically the communication lines to be open, so I can say, hey, is this feature working, or should I cut it out? Should we go a different direction? So when we do come online with the official rollout, it's going to be a product that they want to use, an iPhone, if you will, and so they can hit the ground running and start making making transactions.
This is a paid model, though, right?
Yeah. So it'll be a transaction. We'll take a small transaction from the grow side, and
like a credit card.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, exactly. And we're going to keep that. Depending on how much business they do on our site, obviously we're going to be successful if they're successful, and we're going to work with them on that certain transaction.
Slightly different business model than CCX, what they're doing in that respects, but same goal, right? Trying to get product to people who are in need and get rid of product for those who have too much. Same idea. Is your background business? I mean, you look like you come from a business school. You got that look to you.
They never judge a book by its cover. No, I'm actually
you're a gangster from.
I'm a gangster from L.A. L.A. and I've been rolling. No, so I'm actually born and raised Missouri, and I just moved here from Santa Monica, California. So I've been in L.A. for about 4 years. Yeah. So my background, I used to be in marketing. I was kind of like an in-house marketing manager for Hardee's in the Midwest, and guy owned
Hardee's. Well, I haven't heard that name in a long time.
Talk about have a smoke, and then you can eat a thick burger and live in the dream. So that was my old job. Yeah. And then Carl's Jr. On the West Coast.
That's the same company.
Yeah, they're sister companies, and so owned by a company called CKE. And so that's my background.
Burger.
Yeah, and then
Hey, once a marketer, always a marketer.
Once a snake oil.
Don't get me started on vacuum cleaners and go off all day long.
I'll sell a vacuum cleaner, definitely. I'll do it. Yeah, that's right.
So we had some more people walking in the room. Who do we got over here to my right? Please step forward. Come introduce yourself. Grab a microphone. Grab a headphone. Say who you are, who you're with, and if you like long walks on the beach and your astrological sign.
Well, most importantly, I love long walks on the beach. Most importantly. So I'm Ross. I work with Healthy Headie Lifestyle. We are the Mary Kay of Mary J. I think you might have met Holly earlier with a couple other folks.
Yes, and I think she said the same thing, or somebody just told me that line.
We bring the store to your door.
So you're doing living room Tupperware parties and having their friends invite other friends over, and that type of model, or what do you mean
definitely.
By Mary Kay?
We take the approach that we want to bring cannabis to the baby boomers, to your mother, to your grandmother. We want to do it in a safe, responsible way that they can feel secure within their living room.
Direct sales type stuff.
Exactly.
So you're one of the ones who also came out from the East Coast, dropped everything, Boston.
Yeah, all the way from Boston.
Can I have you say some words for me, just for my own entertainment?
Go park the car by the harbor. Going to the party. Grab a 6-pack.
So what do you think of Colorado? Is this your first time out here?
It came out in January to check out the cannabis industry, and I love it. It's just a different atmosphere. You meet so many different entrepreneurs that are out here chasing their dreams. That's not something you typically see back home. So for me, it's just a breath of fresh air.
And is this the long haul for you? Is this where you're staying? This is the launching pad to everything to come?
Hopefully. Right now, there's 4 of us living in a house in Longmont. It's like the real world. Just still cannabis, and that's basically what you have.
I think that would actually be a great addition to this model is, you're already here most of your day. You might as well throw some apartments up top, lock you guys in, right? Put some cameras up in the corners and have people fight over who ate macaroni and cheese.
Sounds like my typical night at home.
Very cool. So what's a typical day for you? Waking up in the morning, what's the first thing you do?
So this is actually Steve, who actually just walked in. My typical day involves me wake up in the morning and actually banging out some work next to him at the kitchen table.
Come on in. Don't be shy. Don't be shy.
I am Steve. I am one of the founders of companies here at Canopy Boulder, CEO and founder of Healthy Headie Lifestyle.
I was asking him about kind of like, what's the day like? What are you doing? I want to get a grasp on what this incubator is like. What are they putting you through? Are they making you get up and do push-ups in the morning and do 300 phone calls before noon? Give me an insight to what is it like to be in an incubator? I mean, I don't think many people will have that opportunity.
I think it's a lot of bouncing ideas off each other and basically going out and actually validating your thoughts, validating your concept. So typically a typical day would be us coming up with an idea, a concept, or something that we want to integrate into our business, and then just reaching out to the different participants in the program and getting their feedback. If it's good, then we run with it. If it's not, then we pivot and we go in another direction. There's also a lot of pressure. That's obviously, we're an incubator, so...
Pressure because you feel a sense of obligation because of kind of the opportunity, or pressure because if it doesn't really work at the end of this whole venture, you got to go back to Boston, or what? What's the pressure?
Well, I don't want to go back to Boston, but on top of that, I think it's also, you have all the pressures of a regular business, but when you add to the fact that we're Canopy Boulder, we're trying to change the stigma of cannabis, we're trying to change the industry.
This is the first, right?
We are the first.
You guys are the first class, the first generation going through this?
That is correct. So
your success will kind of determine what's to come of just this whole idea in general, right?
I think I speak for all of us when I say we hope so.
Right. Because, I mean, if you all fail, then the organization itself isn't going
to... We joke. It's like Kelly Clarkson of American Idol. I mean,
right? She's still
if
going
Kelly
strong,
Clarkson
though.
didn't exist, American Idol wouldn't have had a season 2.
Right.
So that's just, yeah.
And that's a good thing, because she's still going strong, right? She's still...
So hopefully all of the companies today can be going strong in the future.
You'll be like the...
setting the precedent.
Like the Shell and Exxon and all the derivatives of the Standard Oil, right? Everything that breaks off and becomes a multi-billion-dollar organization.
I'll turn
Let's pass that microphone down the line. So, sir, how do you feel about this whole idea of coming out to Colorado, leaving your life behind, putting yourself through a rather intensive process?
This boot camp is like business school on steroids. That's the easiest way I can describe it. And as far as coming out to Colorado, that was probably the easiest.
That was the easy
part of this whole experience so far. You definitely didn't have to twist my arm to come out here.
Out here. Well,
yeah, that's my New England, Boston. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm not making fun of you. I just I have an inability to filter myself when I hear accents and stuff. I repeat back.
We get quite a bit of that. I don't mind it anymore. It doesn't matter where we go. Yeah.
Well, what's it like the environment on the East Coast with this whole cannabis thing? I mean, out here, obviously in Colorado, we're a little biased. We have some advantages to just being in Denver, I guess, mostly, the metro area. Well, what's it like where you're from? When you told people you were giving up your life to come across the country and do something in cannabis, did people, grab their chest and start doing signs of the cross in front of you and parents disowned you kind of deal?
Yeah, there's still a deep stigma on the East Coast. Politically, it's a mess right now. Back in Massachusetts, I mean, you just touched on a topic that I don't know if Ross or Greg or Holly had mentioned. The whole dispensary process is a nightmare.
Yeah.
So there's still no legal outlet for medical cannabis. They've had medical marijuana for 2 years, and it doesn't exist.
It's not easy. Colorado started with a good model because they had some individuals be very firm and strong on how to set this whole thing up. I don't know if other states are quite getting that as far as...
They all seem to think they have to reinvent the wheel.
Right.
They don't want to look at, their neighbor and say, hey, you guys did a good job.
Right.
We're going to take a little bit of this, a little bit of Colorado, a little bit of Washington, put it together. It's
probably more so Colorado because Washington's still a little lesser regulated in that sense and a little open, not Wild Wild West type stuff, but it's similar to California in that it's very unclear what the exact model should be. Whereas here in Colorado, it was very clear, very locked down, and very well thought out and detailed in that sense.
And I think it works awesome.
Right. Well, that's what I believe helped the stigma educate people was the fact that we had some very notable, reputable individuals, sheriffs and people who stood up and said, this is a model we're putting together and this is how we're going to do it. This is how we're going to control it. And this is why. And I think that helped those who were a little, weary of the situation go, oh, well, if these reputable people are putting their name behind it, then it must be somewhat okay. I don't think other states are quite catching on that the regulation is a benefit here.
Yeah.
There's a benefit to regulation for many reasons.
You can fund the schools. You can hire more police officers. I mean, it ties into what's going on the East Coast right now. People who are disenfranchised with the whole, American dream. I mean, it doesn't exist anymore.
Is this the American dream for you?
Right now, it's a good start.
Yeah. What is your ideal dream? I mean, if you could take this out 10, 15, 20 years where assumably all the bumps and the growing pains have been taken care of, you're now Apple 25 years later. What's the American dream in this industry or business for you?
For one, everybody can consume cannabis at their own rate for whatever they choose to, whether it's medical or recreational. There's definitely going to be employment for everybody. I think we can definitely continue to use this as a catalyst to fund schools, to maybe build an infrastructure that we can rely on for the next 50 to 75 years, just like we did with fossil fuels for the last 80 years, and try to fix some of the problems that we've created. I just think it's going to work out for the better.
How much money are you ultimately going for at the end of this?
As for our pitch,
yes.
I wish I could tell you that today.
Because
we had
another
we had another meeting with our financial mentor. So
well, let me ask. Do you have a number?
No.
All that
work for no. I do in my mind. It's fleshed out, but it's not fully fleshed out yet, so it's not public.
Yeah.
But I know exactly how much I need. I know what I need to do to create to the next level. I just haven't talked to the beauty about being in Canopy Boulder is that we get all these mentors and advisors that want to work with us, that would never have in a million years been able to just reach out to them and say, hey, can I talk to you about this? They respond 5 minutes later and start, yeah, say this, 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 and this, and then call this person.
That comes because of the environment, right? Because of the Canopy in the sense of the organization behind it. If you were just an individual reaching out to these people, you probably wouldn't have the same response if you weren't part of something.
Exactly. Being a part of something that's bigger than you.
Yeah.
And I find that it's been incredibly useful in opening doors. I've been talking to dispensary owners that before can't get past the front person or the bud tender who's been incredibly nice, but I've never been able to talk to the person that makes the decisions. I haven't been able to talk to the person that created this idea 3 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago. I've met activists I've only ever heard about. It's been really great, and that's actually why I came to this. It wasn't for the capital, it wasn't for the clout, it was because they have and they attract amazing people in the industry, and it's been phenomenal.
I've never understood why businesses, I mean, I understand why large corporations have so many barriers and gatekeepers from that standpoint, but from a small business, I've never understood the barrier placing with individual mom pop shops, entrepreneurs, because the way I look at it is the only thing you have as a small business is your network, your ability to connect with people and use them either as an asset or as a friend, but that constantly connecting and networking. And when a salesperson walks through your door, if you're a multi-billion-dollar corporation and some guy's just trying to sell you more, lubricants for your machine, have a few gatekeepers, make them go through the process. There's a channel of how to get to that type of sale. But if you're a mom and pop shop, you should have open doors to every salesperson and every marketer and every individual that walks through your door, because that's the only asset you really have as a small, whether startup or just a small business just trucking along, you and your family. And I've never understood that mentality of mom pop shop, no soliciting here, get out of here, because how do you know what you're missing, right? How do you know what you're missing? Not what is the annoyance of this guy trying to sell you his stuff, but thank you for introducing me to something that I didn't know existed before, or I did know it exists, I'm well aware of it, thank you once again, now let's be friends and, come back next month if you have something new. It's always been my kind of mentality, and I've never understood why small businesses take such this, very resisting, aggressive approach to this soliciting type manner. I don't know.
I think you touched on quite a few points there, actually. The major two are operations. There's just not enough time in the day to talk to every single person that comes up to you and wants to talk to you. And give them even the time of the day that they need to articulate exactly how they can bring value to your business. The other thing is, I haven't found this in the cannabis business. It's usually the former, so it's just there's not enough time in the day to talk to everybody that wants to start this and create their own ideas and grow them. No pun intended. But the other one is, and I find this in other industries, definitely. It's this psychological issue where all of a sudden you're like, oh, well, now I'm the owner. Right. So you go talk to my intern, you go talk to such and such, and they have no business talking to them, like, at all. They're wasting their time, their valuable time that you're paying them for, and buying whatever they want could actually change your business and help you, but you continue the same processes that you've done before just because that's what you know, and you have to give the time to create that network, to open the doors, to talk to people. The digital age, there's no excuse anymore. It's whether they connect through email or a phone call or anything like that is really how you get into everything. But then it's really, again, it boils right back into the full circle idea of there's just not enough time. I mean, it needs to be at least a couple hours for sleep if you want to function properly.
Some things I kind of think there has to be time. Right,
definitely.
It would be like not eating and saying, "Well, I just don't have time to eat, so I guess I'll just wither away and die here." No, that's not an appropriate answer.
Some businesses do, though. If you have something good, you have a chance, and if you grow and execute that vision correctly, you're going to make it in this industry. And only a strike of lightning or an act of God or something like that is going to keep you down from it, or it's just shit timing or something. Right. It just didn't work. Sorry, can I swear on here?
You can say whatever you want.
Okay. I was like, oh, that slipped out.
Say whatever you want. Let the words fly. I don't want you thinking about what you can and can't say. I want you thinking about what you want want to say.
Well, still, you know. Well, sure, this is a cannabis show, so it better be 21 plus.
Well,
fun little advertising laws.
Episodes that do get kind of explicit, I label them as so.
Oh,
but
okay.
it's a podcast. It's supposed to just talk to people who are having real conversations, so there's no reason to censor yourself or feel like you have to say anything else that wouldn't be anything less than what you want to say.
I have a double thing on me. I grew up in Minnesota, and I spent many years in Texas. Yes, so I have that politeness ingrained in me. Like, it's not about censoring, it's about being polite and respectful.
Well, I was born in Wisconsin.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And then grew up most of my life in the Southwest.
Nice.
And down here. That has nothing to do with being polite. I don't know. I was just born in Wisconsin.
Minnesota nice. And then that Texan, you know.
Right.
God bless you. It means like, go fuck yourself. Yeah, it's pretty bad.
I love business from a small business standpoint. I've engaged in many businesses over the years. I attempted to start businesses. I've failed at businesses, lost money at businesses. I've started businesses and ended up doing nothing with them. But the only thing that I can really hold on to is, regardless of what business comes and goes, my network is always kind of there. So yeah, maybe today I'm doing a radio show. Maybe it doesn't work out. Maybe I have to start another business, but I don't have to start over because my network is still there. My friends, my followers, my fans, those people who are there because of a relationship I've built. And honestly, most of them have come from, being that salesman walking through the door trying to sell me something for my business, me just talking to him and then becoming, quasi friends with the guy. And now all of a sudden we have a relationship and we hang out. And when something comes up that's relevant to his business, we exchange that and we share it, and vice versa. I never look at it as, is this guy trying to sell me something? Get him out of my shop. How dare you try to sell me your product? That's an old mentality to me, and I think it's one that just comes from people being burned out by the market. 30, 40, 50 years of people using the same sales tactics and approaches where people are just burned out, right? You're exhausted. Business owners are exhausted. They don't have the time, but at the same time, they're not making the proper channels to how to communicate with those people. And having proper channels is probably the biggest thing.
It definitely is. And it's understanding those channels too.
Right.
How best to leverage them.
I mean, turning people away from your door, to me, is just counterproductive of any type of business practice. So maybe just have a proper channel. Sales guy walks to your door, tell him, you know what? I actually have a way to do this. Send me an email at support@ blah, 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 blah. Within 72 hours, I'll send you an email back. You send me some links of what you got. Send me your pitch via email. A couple weeks later, I'll get back to you. So, there needs to be a process. But simply just saying, don't have the time, to me is an unacceptable solution.
I think that's just above, that's just how it is.
Yeah.
Oh, I hate that phrase. That's just how it is.
Yeah.
No. But yeah, I completely agree with you 100%
Well, maybe you guys can change that here. I mean, you're kind of doing something that's unique.
We're trying.
Right?
We are definitely trying.
I think your model here is actually a model that could work in many aspects. For one, you kind of have a shared workspace going. So we'll walk around the place in a minute here and kind of describe what the environment is of where you're working. But it's pretty much a shared workspace. You have desks, multiple computers, and you're all sitting in a big great room with your individual businesses separated by desks and computers. But at the same time, you're working as a group and you're working individually. I think that could work on many levels with many businesses, and I think that business model is something you guys could really perfect here, regardless of cannabis. Just take that idea of not just shared workspace, like here's my space I'm renting for the hour and there's your space you're renting, here's the wall between us, but here's a space that I'm involved in, here's a space you're involved in, here's a business I do, here's a business you do. Let's each work on our business, but let's collaborate as a whole. And that could be something that comes out of this whole process at the end of 90 days that's far greater than your individual businesses.
We were just joking actually this morning. Highest Reward, Scott, the co-founder of that, he was saying the same thing. We're keeping this after July 1st, right? We're all just going to get an office space. We're going to kick our Canopy Boulder 2 out, and we're gonna rent this space, all of us, and we're just keep going what we're doing because it's been so successful. It really is. And that whole accelerator, incubator, we all combine and create this amazing thing together is alive here. And I think it's pretty awesome. We're about to do a tour.
Yeah, we want to kind of see what's going on around the place and see how everybody fits in. Maybe do some video shooting, the phones. and put them up on the YouTube, on my YouTube page. Give people an idea what it's like to work throughout an incubator type space. Is there anything else? Can
I do my pitch again?
Please.
I totally butchered my pitch in the beginning. I was just like, and I do advertising that does on internet.
Do it again. Just say this. Use this. Cut out the other one. So when I'm listening to it again, when I'm listening to it at home, I clearly hear you say, use this one, cut out the other, and I go back and cut out the other and use this one. But yeah, have at it.
All right. Use these. Use this. Please use this. Adistry is a digital advertising full-service solution for your cannabis business. What we do is place your well-crafted banner ads and video ads, 15 to 45 seconds, on cannabis websites. We place them on cannabis websites because that's where your market is. That's where the people you want to interact with. Those are the people that you want to buy your products or service and talk to you with. So, Adistry.
Very good.
Much better. All right, I've been practicing.
I'll make that work. I'll clean it up a little bit. All right, should we walk around?
Yeah.
Take some videos, take some pictures. Thanks for listening to this week's show. Make sure to come back next week. We're going to have more guests lined up, speaking with dispensary owners, growers, business owners. Make sure to follow us on all of the social media, Facebook, Google+. You can listen to our shows live from the website or your preferred listening platform. Find us on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Spreaker, even YouTube, all under the same name, CannabisCommunityProject.com. We'll see you next week.